am Boo Boo. I'm from Prakanong, Thailand. Our company distribute the beverage, great wine, and white spirit. And today we support the empowerment of women. Today we support about the white, Le Petit Rosé, Chardonnay. Also we have the red wine, Shiraz Cabernet. Today I'm so very happy that meeting with the many people. They are so kind and lovely. Thank youค่ะ and hope you enjoy with our product จากขอบคุณ If you interested in our product you can contact with Prakanong Thailand or Vim and Vigor Thailand ขอบคุณค่ะ
สวัสดีค่ะกู๊ดค่ะ
สวัสดีค่ะเนมค่ะพวกเรา Marketing จากบริษัท Kirloskar Brothers Thailand ค่ะ
ทำเกี่ยวกับปั๊มโซลูชันค่ะไม่ว่าจะเป็น water ปั๊ม fire ปั๊ม process ปั๊มนะคะหรือจะเป็นในส่วนของ IoT solution ไม่ว่าจะเป็น monitoring fire ปั๊มนะคะรวมไปถึงsmart farming ด้วยค่ะเราก็อยากจะมา support นะคะ Lady Power บริษัทแม่ของเราที่อินเดียก็เป็นส่วนหนึ่งในการ support โครงการดีๆอย่างนี้นะคะแล้วก็ที่สำคัญค่ะผู้หญิงอย่างเรานี้นะคะคุณเนมคะเราต้องมี
สวยไม่พอนะคะต้องไงคะคุณกู๊ด
ต้องแกร่งด้วยค่ะที่สำคัญก็ฝากไว้ด้วยละกันนะคะกิจกรรมดีๆแบบนี้ฝากติดตามมีเมื่อไหร่ห้ามพลาดค่ะสวัสดีค่ะ
Very happy to do so. Welcome and I hope everyone enjoy and like the place. Want me to support more? Please do not hesitate to ask. Right now we have 30 branches in Thailand. By the end of the year, actually now just 27, but by end of this year shall be 30. Almost every BTS and MRT station. So welcome. We just like this is a good example of the new world of work for hybrid working, and this can bring kind of like people to work closer to home and adapt to hybrid lifestyle.
When I talk to Khun Anya, like what? It's a broad topic, right? What should we talk about? First thing, the difference that I came up in my mind was the awkward silence. I'm pretty sure most of you guys as a Westerner have this phase before, going in a meeting and ask some question and you were like, and nobody responding to you, right? And you were like, what? You're probably like really frustrated and you're like, why? This is the way we were raised. First of all, in school, we were taught listen and repeat. We were not taught to have a thinking process. We were taught to also not talk while other people are talking. So if you are having a big meeting and you have probably like 5 Western and 2 Asian, if you start debating, you can recognize that those 2 Asian colleagues will be sitting like this. It doesn't mean that they don't have anything to say, but they don't know how to break through the thing. And another thing is that in school, if you ask a question in classroom, maybe it's different now, maybe newer generation is different, but I would say for people my age, not that old, or like older, raising your hands and showing you know something can be seen as negative. And that's why they don't want to do it. You can see like Thai and Asians are more like, it's like in collective, right? They want to belong to the group. They don't want to stand out because showing that you know something might be like, yeah, that show off, or like, like so cocky. You're like, you know everything. And then you'll be bullied. I was bullied in school because I was like that. So if you're having a conversation or you want to ask your colleague something, give them a chance to speak. But I think this is still a problem that you can't really change. If you're working with Thai or Asian culture, it's something you can't change because it's so integrated in us. So what you can do, be more specific about your question as well. Because sometimes it might take them like, oh, what do I think? How do I think? How do I answer? Also, the language barrier could be one of the reasons.
From my experience when I was younger, yes, of course, when teacher asks me something, I have to think over again. That's true. So that is a point. You are right.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else would like to share on this area?
I had the chance to work with teams of like a bigger size, like 20 people that were mixed with foreigners and Thai. And one advice from my manager at that time, and he was, I think, Irish, but it was a very good advice. He advised me to find a Thai sidekick that was somebody that is usually like more open and talk more freely with people, and have this person be the medium with the rest of the team, like to address during the meeting, asking opinion to a Thai person so that they would feel less shy to reply to a Thai person, and then that drives them to participate more into the meetings. So I've used that a couple of times.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, that was actually also on my list. I wouldn't call sidekick. I would say like find a buddy, find your buddy, right? But so it's a similar way. I had it. I forgot to thank you for adding that topic that I think might be difficult for a lot of Westerners to understand about seniority and hierarchy, right? In Thai culture, and again in school, we were taught not to talk back or question authority. Authority here includes your parent, teacher, whoever are older than you, no matter even like 6 months older, then like you're not supposed to talk back to them, right? If you're working with your staff who are more senior than you in terms of age, they might feel entitled that they are right. But that's also in like, older generation. Doesn't apply to everyone. Again, this is like kind of generic thing that how we grow up, right? So you can see, I didn't realize that, the other day I was at a hospital with my boyfriend and we were sitting on the chair and the staff were walking past us, everybody walking like, like this. And my boyfriend was like, why did they do that? I'm like, why? Do what? Yeah, walking like that. That's the way they show respect. I do that as well when I walk past. If I walk past Peanut or people parent, I was just like bow down, and that goes automatically because that's how we were taught. But actually, if you spend some time here and if you learn about the language, you can actually sense the hierarchy right in the language. In Thai, we address the monks, the royal family, and a lot of whatever level that we had to learn in school. There's so many sets of vocabulary you have to learn. So you can sense it from the language. So actually learning the language would also help you a little bit to understand. But also I would say that the seniority and hierarchy topic is also relative. Even among Asian countries, like me working as a Thai, working for Taiwanese airline, you know what I had to do when I was talking to a passenger? I told I had to go like this. I had to go down on the floor and talking to Taiwanese passengers. And that for me was extreme. Coming from a Thai culture, so I could see that if somebody, coming from, like, Latin America, for example, I'm like, oh, I have to bow down. You'd be like, no, I'm not going to do that, like, fine knows because she worked for Emirates and like, all the mix of the culture. But even for me, that was too much. You work for a Japanese company, for example. If you're a junior, you cannot leave before any of other seniors. Go home. I think in that case, in that regard, for Thai environment, it's still quite okay. And so yeah, with hierarchy, you can see more layers in the workplace. In Thailand. Say like in Sweden, for example, I noticed, I work a lot with Swedish colleagues as well. They are more like, even as the manager, that you still talking to each other like almost in the same level. In Thai, I can tell you from the experience of 10 plus years as executive assistant, don't even try to knock the door of your Thai CEO before talking to the assistant because you get like out. If you want to approach the Thai CEO, Thai executive, even for your customer, the high level, their assistants are your best friends. Buy them cookies, flour, tea, whatever. It's a fact because some people skip me before and then my boss send them out as well. But it's not because my boss was Thai, but it's just, everything has to go through me. So if you lead a team as an expat with a senior team member, you might want to communicate with them on your style. Because if they are senior, they might be, late 40s plus 50s, whatever. So their views about the world seniority going to be even more extreme, compared to, these ladies here standing right here, right? So make sure you make it clear on the first path that whatever you say, it's not personal. Because here everything is relationship based, right? It's a P, nong, like brother, sister, and stuff. But for you guys, it might be task based. You were assigned as a manager, you have to manage a team. But for them, like, who are you? Why are you managing my team? And it's not, I have to say, and I'm sorry to hear, but a lot of time, some people don't really accept expat fully with their heart. They say like, you are outsider, which is sad for me, but that's also, the word in Japanese, gaijin, for example, you're outsider. You're not accepted in this culture. But you have a way to buy into their hearts, right? For me, I would say, I'm not sure if you are familiar with the why, the why. That works all the time, but do it right. Don't do it like, like this. No, that's like, just do it like this, like this, Sawadee-ka, just greet them. I mean, you don't have to do it every day, but they love it. Even if they don't show it, they love, I can tell you. So another sensitive topic. So you might have heard the word losing face. I think we hear that word too much. But I think this rule is kind of universal. You don't want to comment on anybody in front of the whole team. I think that's a universal international rule that you don't do. And especially in Asia, that's like probably 10 times worse than if you did it in America. It's like, oh, hey, dude, that project you did was like really bad, because Thai people also take feedback quite personally, not quite, but very personally, so everybody was like, you know it, exactly. So yeah, and on the other hand, apart from you giving them feedback, they also don't want to give you feedback either, because they also don't want you to feel bad. But that's because how they would feel. So if you understand the way they're thinking, how their brain kind of works, so you can work around it. Which means, even though sometimes you do something wrong and nobody tell you, doesn't mean it's right. The people will be afraid to tell you, because even though they know it's wrong, same as if you're learning Thai, right? If you're learning Thai and try to speak Thai people will be just like, it's good, Even though sometimes you're like, what did you just say? I didn't get it, So you might want to also tell them that you would appreciate their feedbacks. Just have to say it out loud to their face. Even though they think about it, they're still scared to say it, because they don't want to make you to lose face. And also the same thing, they also don't want to lose face, right? If we go back to the seniority issue, it can be tricky when you want to give feedback to somebody more senior than you. If you are very new, you don't know them, you try to get to know them first. Thailand is more of a relationship-based society, right? It's more of like, hey, but you are like my sister, why you talk to me like that? It's too direct. It's like nobody likes it. So like to try to find a way to build a relationship and try to talk to them not as a manager or manager towards staff, but trying to talk to them as a friend. Asian people love to eat. If you go if it's too formal to just have a conversation in a meeting room, go for coffee, invite them for coffee, drink cookies. And that's the same thing with, handling business deals. That's why that's why we have golf. That's why, in China, you have to go drink a lot of Mao Tai before you can sign a business deal, or you go drink soju until you drown with soju in Korea. That's actually, I think, valid for most of the Asian culture. Yeah. So anybody would like to share anything?
Is also about sharing about yourself. So a lot of time when I meet my Thai colleague, when I join the company or a new company or even a networking event, there is that barrier of, I'm not sure what I'm going to say, what I'm going to share with you. So I found out that, of course, you can ask them about themselves, because everybody loves to talk about themselves. But the other way is share something about you. So, for example, my colleague, when she joined the company, I had a big event and I had to go on stage and make this thing, and I was freaking out. And so I went back and I said, how was she? Oh, you were perfect. Oh, how was I? Oh, you were perfect. Yeah, no, but give me some advice. So next time I do it, I will do it better. No, you were perfect. Okay. But now, months and months have gone by, and now we know each other. And I told her, I said, I was really scared. I went on the stage. For me, everything was blank. I could not see anything. So thanks God, I knew my text that day. And I just speak out loud. But I don't know what's happened, because in my mind, I was just out. And then because I shared that, she was like, well, we could see you were not completely comfortable at the beginning. Oh, you could see that, right? Yeah, because I know you, okay. And then now it's the difference. So now if I have to do something, she comes, I'm just like, am I okay? And she's like, no, you change your hair, you do this. No, you speak slowly, you calm down, no more coffees. And she's the one advising me. So yeah, I understand the hierarchy when you are on a higher level. It's hard what you can share and what you cannot share. But a little bit of humanity goes a long way, and you will have humanity back to you. And I think that works well too.
Yes, thank you for adding that. I think that actually with the topic, we just had the event the other day about vulnerability, right? So sharing your true self. Don't block yourself. I think it's more difficult for men to show, like how you were feeling. But I think it's a very good example because you show that you're also a human, right? You show that you're also a human, and then just like that person see like she's not that scary. Maybe I can talk to her now, right? So I think that's a very good way. So thank you for adding on that one. Anybody else would like to share? Yes.
From one of my clients, complaining that one of my staff did a mistake. And I took that staff one side, of course, not giving her feedback in front of everybody else, and trying to explain her in a very nice way what I would have done in that certain situation. She was like, yes, yes, yes. And after that, I found out she hid herself in one room and started crying.
Oh.
What do I do? How should I manage this kind of situation? How can you say someone you did it wrong, although you try to explain it nicely? Well, you could do this and that and that. How can I avoid these kind of situations in the future?
How?
Especially when working with Thai staff.
But you said you talk to the staff nicely.
Always.
I know you. I know you as well. But also that depends on the experiences of your staff. They're probably not sad. They're just scared and they feel bad. They feel bad about having made the mistake. That's why they're crying. I don't think they're even mad at you. From my point of view, maybe another briefing, a little bit more of a training, more understanding of what the customer needs. Like I said, sometimes you have to repeat things. But if it still doesn't work, and if she repeats the same mistake, I would say get another one. Maybe she's not right for this job.
Even if I don't have the answer exact, but first, which language were you speaking to this person? English. She can communicate. However, I think sometimes it might be helpful to have the support of someone, and therefore I'm thinking, but here our Thai friends here could tell us how it would be in this situation. As much as we know as a manager that it's not you are not supposed to share any feedback in public or with other people, don't you think it would help sometimes if this person you have to share something, you take someone who is really good friend or good colleague, and they can receive this feedback together, or helping each other or translating to each other, something like this. I don't know, but what do you think, for example, Khun Jeb? Yeah, because even if she was alone with you in the room, she still feels she's alone with you, and it comes on her, only on her shoulder. So maybe, I don't know if it would be an idea to bring someone of trust, who could avoid this feeling of having the shock on her. So just an idea.
I always hear complaint from a lot of Western colleagues. Why Thai people are always late? And I'm like, well, I'm never late. So I think it's you do the word sabai, right? Sabai attitude. You can see Thai people, walk on the BTS. They're like, like this Westerner, like that. I'm not sure why, but I think it's actually people don't want to rush because it's in the attitude, why rushing? We're just chilling, we're just sabai. But I know that's not always the right thing. So like I mentioned, this is not just Thai. It's in a lot of countries, different cultures, just how we were brought up. Even though in school we kind of have fixed schedule, right? Actually, we were punished if we were late to school, which is quite a bad punishment. So maybe we just want to rebel on that. I'm not sure about the real reason. But the thing is, I know you cannot change them. It's very difficult that you can't change them. You can work around. If you're upset because you're late, because you're used to your own culture, you just have to be like expecting that they're gonna be late.
We are a French company, right? But
yes.
We just recently have a German as an operation director, and he quite senior, I have to say. And then when we arrange a meeting, and I asked him to join like 10 to 11, and at 10, sometimes only 1 minute, he feel very upset. So as Thai, we could not understand what the big deal of 1 minute. You're not gonna get even.
But that's already late for German. So you have to understand their perspective. I know you're working with French, it was different before, right?
And then one time he very furious because we late for 7 minutes. and that in his mind is like it's a serious crime or some.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he been working in China before.
Chinese people are quite on time though.
Oh,
In
okay.
general, Chinese are very different.
Yeah, so now what we do with him, so I will arrange if we want him to be at 10 or 11,
It's at 10,
we
15.
will, yeah, so we will Thai people, we will prepare like, okay, 9:30 and then at 10, sometime 9:45, he there, he feel better because he early.
Yeah.
But
Thanks. And I just come to almost the last part. All the little things that gonna help you kind of blend into the Thai culture because we're based here. But I would say that no matter where you are, if you're the host, you have to be welcoming. You have to show them the way. I mean, these days I find a few bad because I feel I see more of the barrier between expats and Thais than before. Like a lot of younger expats hanging out among themselves and Thai just hang out among themselves. And there was a Swedish guy. We were asking him about what he's bringing back home to Sweden for his family or his friend. Nothing. It was like, that's not in our culture to do this thing. I'm like, but if you come back from Sweden, you should bring something for your team because if you don't, that'll be a no. You know, I think Asian love food, especially Thai. That's why we don't say, how are you? You say, kin khao yang? Have you eaten? Like I said, if you learn the language, you will know what's important in our culture. You know, just bringing little treats to your team. They'll be like, oh, this is so nice. Then you can find some time to talk to them as well through the food. So another sensitive thing I think here is still the male-female relationship. You know, it's still seen as sexual. It's not as a friendly. Offices, Thai colleagues, female will go with female for lunch. Male will go with male. And that's always been separated since we were in school. And the way they expect you to be doesn't mean that it's a taboo to go for a lunch with a male colleague. It's not. But some people, especially the old school ones, still see it as like not appropriate, Another thing Khun Anya mentioned that I had to laugh. She said like she was reading in a book about Thai culture before that foreigners are not supposed to wear skirt. And I'm like, where did you read that? She said that was 20 years ago. But again, like dress code is still quite something people really look at you and judge you from, especially in Thai culture. Because I've seen, like if you're a tourist, you're going into temple, for example. I'm not religious, but for me, it's still in my culture. If you're going to temples, you have to cover your knees. But some people don't. Yeah. Or even in church, going to church, Or I see a foreigner, wearing all black into a Thai wedding, and my heart was like, drop on the feet. I'm like, you don't do that. Purple is also a no-no because purple is the color of a widow. So the golden keys for me to get along with other cultural is to observe, right? So first you come, you see, you maybe don't act, you see what other people do, you observe, and you have to accept that this is the way they are. Like I said, you can't change anybody. You just only can change your perception. You can change your expectation. You can change your mind. Then you are less stressed out because of like, oh, they're doing this. I don't like it. You have to see like that's the way they are. And you are in their home. It's like my house, my rule. If they go to your country and they do things that is not acceptable in your culture, you can have to tell them as well. Yeah, you have to adjust. So that's the three keys for me to find a way to blend in multicultural, whether it be friends, whether it be colleagues, whether it be your family, right? In relationship, everything. Try to do that because you can't change the other person. So there's two books. It's quite small. So this one actually just found by accident. I just started a month ago on a cultural aspect. It's called the Culture Map. This is based on a research by a professor at INSEAD. She actually kind of provides services for like a cultural preparation for expat to move in another country. And she has this culture map on relativity on about how to, even like you can read everything about how American working with French, how German working with Asian a lot. It's very interesting. So you can find a way to, but that's also, from cultural background, right? And this is surrounded by idiots. It's similar to what Lynn said. It's more individual aspect. People have a different personality, so speaking style, working style are different. So if you can, I think if you can understand, have those 3 rules and have these understanding about the cultural aspect, the individual aspect, everybody's different, you can, I think you can work together with a lot of other people. And again, make everybody feel included. Don't make them feel that they are foreigner, make them feel you are part of the team. And I think that's probably, the conclusion of my presentation or my talk today. Thank you very much. ขอบคุณค่ะ